Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the most misunderstood zodiac sign, part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, well, I'm going to unveil and reveal first of all what I think is the most misunderstood zodiac sign. I think it is Scorpio. Scorpio, of course, could be very intricate. They're the opposite sign of Taurus, and Taurus, of course, could be very fundamental and basic. I think when I look at Scorpio, though, the reason I think they're the most misunderstood very strongly is because a lot of their actions are misconstrued, I think. Now, when you look at like Aquarius may very well be the most paradoxical and enigmatic of all the signs, but then Pisces might actually be the most complex because they are, at least in my opinion, and others may concur with this, that they're the amalgamation or combination of the previous 11 zodiac signs. So anyway, but the reason that Scorpio is the most misunderstood because they are intricate and complicated, and they're also well, it's mainly because, again, it's really coming back to the fact their actions may often be misconstrued. I mean, for example, their incisiveness might be often perceived as meanness when they're just really simply trying to get to the heart of the matter in many cases. Now, their probing nature may be misconstrued as being overly nosy or inquisitive, but what they're really trying to do a lot of times is they're trying to feel people out. I think often they're trying to see the person's intentions, and Scorpio could be very adept at deciphering the character composition of others. They're often very intuitive as far as that goes, and they are actually a lot of times trying to see deep. When they look at you too, they can often have a very piercing and penetrating look, and this could be misconstrued for intimidation. Now, the reality is, in many cases when they're doing this, it's really they're trying to look deep into you. They're often trying to detect deception or subterfuge or superficiality. They may often look for these little nuances or mannerisms to see if you're on the up and up, so to speak, such as looking for a gulp in the throat when someone's talking to them, to see if they might be lying or prevaricating. Now, another thing about Scorpio too is that they could be overly secretive. They are often, but that nature can be mistaken for aloofness or snobbery. The reason with Scorpio is really a lot of times very much of themselves and about their solitude and seclusion is because they're often very skeptical and cynical. They're often reluctant and apprehensive as far as letting new people in their life. Their suspicious nature is actually more of a reflection on them, I believe, than you. They may be suspicious of you, but I would not look at that as a personal slight or meaning that there is a strong reason for anyone to be skeptical of you. Doesn't mean that you're a suspicious person, but the thing about it is that Scorpio is often very suspicious of others because of this, and they're reluctant often to let people enter their lives readily because of those people potentially getting personal info on them and then using it against them at a later point in time. Now, another thing about them is that I think that another thing about Scorpio too is that when you see them, their placid look may camouflage very turbulent emotions. They are under the surface, I believe, much like I believe that Pluto likely has raging waters under the icy surface. They can have very strong, powerful emotions, and their placid look can just be a front to cover them. I think that Scorpio is a lot more sensitive than you may actually think they are. And another thing about Scorpio too is why I think they're the most misunderstood zodiac sign is because they're often stereotyped more negatively than any of the other zodiac signs. You look at Scorpio. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Anyway, But you look at them, they're often stereotyped very negatively, more so than any of the other zodiac signs. They may be seen very often as being vengeful, vindictive, sadistic, even nefarious, manipulative, and notorious for maniacal jealousy. Now the thing about this is, Scorpio, in a very negative manifestation, they can exhibit these qualities, and many Scorpios will exhibit these qualities from time to time, but not as consistently or constantly as many might think. So I think a lot of that, I would say, is why I believe, Scorpio can very well be the most misunderstood zodiac sign. And remember that Scorpio, they are a sign, given a water sign, they actually can have a lot of compassion. Well, one thing this new place gave me is a nice cold, so I got something good for Christmas anyway. Is that they have a lot more compassion than people might give them credit for. So, and remember that many people can be misunderstood regardless of their zodiac sign, and aspects in their chart can play a role in this as well. Somebody that has their sun making an adverse aspect to their ascendant may be often very misconstrued or misunderstood, because the inner nature can be diametrically opposed sometimes to what their outer nature would be, which would be the ascendant. So anyway, those are some things to look at as far as this goes. And remember that Scorpio often has a lot of good attributes as well, and many will exhibit those qualities, such as, again, their compassion, their resiliency, their ability to inspire others to transform their lives. Remember, it's a sign connected with transformation. Scorpio is a fighter. They're often fighting their own perpetual battle in life, and this is a sign that has very indomitable spirit, has a very strong will, and very resolute. They're very fixed in purpose, and will often finish whatever it is they start. And they also have very good, often investigative ability as well. They could be enamored with investigating mysteries and very adept and astute at problem solving. So there's a lot, and very resourceful. There's a lot of good attributes about Scorpio. So it's just important not to accentuate the negative with them. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for what I believe is the most misunderstood zodiac sign, part 2 of 2. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about why I believe we need the zodiac sign Scorpio. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.